Please welcome Skift founder and CEO Rafat Ali and Skift head of research Seth Borko.
So this ends the official end of the day, but before it ends, Seth had something to present. Go ahead.
This is really legitimately what it's like working for Rafat, by the way. It's just get up there, go. So we wanted to summarize some of the thoughts we had for the day. We were gonna just take a transcript, put it into ChatGPT, but you all heard that it's down, so we're up here, humans, doing the job instead. I think there was a couple of great themes that we heard from all the speakers today. Number one, which you started with, Rafat, good AI requires good data. That was something that we heard over and over again. Not just good data, but domain-specific data. I think Kayak was just saying that, how OpenAI is just a broad platform. The key is having that travel-specific data and breaking down those silos across subsectors and across companies. We talked about the use cases for data. I think Gilad, who's right here in the front row, thank you for sticking around, said, you don't necessarily need an AI strategy. It's still early days. You need to experiment. We heard that from a couple of different people. We also heard about sometimes AI can be a hammer in search of a nail. Sometimes it's the NASA space pen compared to the pencil. But when it does work, it can be really, really magical, especially as a bridge between unstructured data and structured data. That was one of my biggest takeaways about this technology, was not that it's going to be a solve everything, you're going to rip out all of your infrastructure and use AI, but it's going to let you take your traditional structured databases and plug them into the real messy, unstructured world of travel. And it almost acts like a translator. I like someone said that basically all this travel jargon is almost a language in and of itself, and it's not just translating Spanish to French, but it's translating GDS to English and stuff like that. And then we heard some great examples of not just operational use cases where you can upskill people, recover from irregular operations, work on getting your people better, but we heard some great guest use cases too. I loved what Marriott was saying about how we really want to see your face if you're in a customer service facing role, and how can you get the people out from behind the computer, empower them with technology, and get them to actually interact with the customers. That was what I heard, Rafat. How was that for a summary? GPT could have done better?
That was good. That was very good. Thank you, Seth. One of the things I heard when I think Marriott spoke about this, and I was talking to some folks outside, and this is on the consumer application side on how consumers interact with digital tools, this paradigm of search interface versus chat interface. This is a debate that's been happening for the last, 2 years at this point. And I know Marriott, when they redesigned that search for the homes and villas thing, or I don't know exactly,
it was homes and
for
villas.
that product, I think he talked about it on stage, which is they went through this equation of should it be a search or should it be a chat? And I think that's, from an interface perspective, that's probably one of the biggest battles that will play out over the next few years. It looks like Google has sort of bet that search will be the interface because it's just a lot faster to get back the answers. The rumors that OpenAI will launch a search engine will be very interesting to see if they take the other side of the equation. And so for me personally, I'm very interested in that, and that was brought up this today. The other thing that, I don't know if it came up that much because I wasn't able to listen to everything, but I was talking to some folks earlier, and Andreessen Horowitz came out with this report on voice agents and what voice agents in AI in the B2B and B2C and purely consumer use cases. Obviously, they're looking for startups to invest in the voice agent world. And voice agents, as you know, has so many operational implications in the travel industry, from customer service to all different. Obviously, customer service is such a huge part of. Imagine if the right voice agents were there, operational 4 years ago when that surge happened during COVID time, and that would have been probably the best test case, use case for AI to be there. So I feel like by next year when we're sitting here, I feel like voice agents will be one of the big things that travel industry would probably be focused on and trying to solve a lot of the operational issues in travel.
And we opened talking about multimodal a little bit. We talked about AIs talking to other AIs. So once you get into that world, which sort of we saw that GPT demo, once you get into that world of voice agents, you wind up with this world potentially too of AIs talking to AIs and taking that unstructured
Yeah, the
voice.
multimodal part, which I didn't understand until the new GPT-4o launched. Of like, before that, it was they were taking audio, translating into text. It would go to an engine. It would come back in text. That would then go into speech again, versus natively interacting with each format, which I think is fascinating. For me personally, AI will be magic when I'm talking to some I'm just making it up. If I'm traveling in Albania, what do they speak in Albania? What's the language in Albania? Albanian. Okay, so that you're Albanian and I'm American, and you and I are talking.
Yes.
And without a mediated environment in between, you're able to speak in Albanian, I'm able to speak in English, and we're able to understand each other in real time.
Yes.
But I know, Shane, you're going to tell me that's almost here. That world is almost here. Latency is gone for most part. It's the device that is still there in between, and if that somehow gets abstracted, whether in the phone somehow or the headphones, etc., then we're there. Which just seems like a magical world for us who believe in the promise of travel and opening up the world and being able to understand each other seamlessly, which I think personally for me is fascinating. So I feel like we're at the cusp of it, and hopefully by next year, maybe we'll see some applications from startups that you invest in or large companies or both, and we will have people from all over the world that we can interview on stage without having to worry about the languages.
That's
too.
right. You'll
So
unlock all the information from all of the world. That secret spot in Albania that only the Albanians know and only they read an Albanian version of TripAdvisor will be available to us all.
I think we're done for today.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you to all the speakers. I know many of you are still here. And I want to thank all of our sponsors. Again, this wouldn't have been possible without the sponsors. I hope I see a lot more names up here next year as sponsors. Hint, hint. And if you want to come to the Global Forum, this is our big showcase that I know many of you have been, September 17th to 19th. And tomorrow, again, I think I mentioned this in the morning, we have the Short-Term Rental Summit, so we have to be back here.
That's right. Tomorrow
morning. I did like the 10 a.m. start this morning. Did you guys like it? Which I think tomorrow we're not 10. I think tomorrow we're 9 o'clock. But the reason we had to do 10 is there was some events here yesterday, and we couldn't do the load-in, but it worked out for like people in New York, and it's all the way downtown for people. So it worked out. So that was a good experiment. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank all of our team, all of our speaker sponsors, our team, Skift team, that helped us put this together. And I want to thank Vivek is still here, the one who brought us the idea originally as well. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next year.
Thanks, everybody.